Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to begin today with what we should have started yesterday on Monday, which would be the beginning of Melancholy Songs Week. So, I guess this is a week we're going to be expecting some sad or pensive tracks, and I'm pretty excited about that. We listen to a lot of uh, harsh music that sort of evokes anger or aggression. We've listened to oppressive music in the past. We've listened to a lot of upbeat, poppy, or just energetic stuff, but rarely do we listen to anything that's melancholy or tragic or anything like that. So I think it's going to be an interesting week where we get to check out some stuff that doesn't typically get on the channel. Today we are going to be looking at a composer, I think, Jóhannsson. Um, Maybe it is a group, though. I have been confused by that previously. Um, and the song is called The Sun's Gone Dim and the Skies Turn Black. So let's see what's going on here.
And she didn't look back. The sun's gone dim, and the skies turned black. 'Cause I loved her, and she didn't look back. The sun's gone dim, and the skies turned black.
Interesting use of autotune to create that Vocaloid sound. Very, very digital effect being added to the vocalists. Beautiful swelling music underneath, though. Yeah, the music underneath just whisks me away. It takes me to a very ethereal place. Interesting. There's actually some really cool digital stuff going on inside of this rather traditionally classic track. Yeah, really nice build up. I really enjoy a lot of the uses of layering here. Yeah, and bring back that theme. Yeah, so they took back the that digital male vocal line and put it in a violin here, but instead of returning back up to the high point to come back down, it's just a gradual movement through the octave. So I really, yeah, very ethereal and pensive. I would say that the beginning definitely fits more of that sad aspect of melancholy, whereas the ending section kind of fits more of, we kind of move into a bit of a pensive idea there, and there's almost a bit of triumph, I would say, right up until the strings came back in. So kind of the point between when the operatic singer quit, and then there were a few bars there that felt kind of triumphant, and then the string came back in with the first vocalist's melodic line, bum 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 bum. That part is where the ending kind of picks up a little bit more of that sadness before that we saw at the beginning of the track. Now, um, as a whole, though, this is just a journey of a song. This is something that on paper is not super complex. There's very few layers, though they are utilized very well, I would say. Um, there's not a lot of movement going on from not movement. There's not a lot of changing ideas going on from start to finish. We see a lot of utilization of theme and repetition. A lot of this is loop based. Um, but the end result, the artistic conclusion, is phenomenal. It takes the listener on a journey easily. There was a moment there where I just closed my eyes and it was just gorgeous. And that's, I talk a lot here about music theory and how to utilize more complex ideas, um, and stuff like that. We talk about Hockett's and harmonization and canons and all sorts of stuff. And yes, complexity can make great music, but all those things, as I've mentioned before, are just tools. Not every song needs to implement them to be effective, to be emotionally moving, to be artistic, to explore human emotion. And I think this is a perfect scenario, perfect song to exhibit how complexity does not necessarily equal greatness and how greatness does not need complexity. This is a song that does phenomenally. It makes a lot out of a little. Um, and a lot of that is in how expertly they wield the few tools that they do. And yeah, by no means this is an expert use of these tools. We see ideas like theme cropping up. We had that opening vocal line showing up again in the violins. Um, and in fact, I would say that there's really only two ideas going on through here. We have the opening 2.5 minutes, give or take, which would be the more melancholy aspect. We have the middle section with the operatic singer, and then the final section is more of a combination of those two ideas. And um, yeah, it's really two simple ideas with some phenomenal layering, beautiful melody work, and just this idea of ethereal whimsiness that ties it all together by kind of keeping that concept throughout the entire song. It is just extremely well done. Um, and it's not exactly what I was expecting for Melancholy Week. I do kind of hope that we see more music like this. There's definitely melancholic rock music, metal music. There are songs in those genres that will make you feel sad or pensive or thoughtful. But this is kind of what I'm hoping to see more of, stuff that we wouldn't typically check out on the channel. However, though, like I said, this isn't exactly what I was looking for. Like I said, there's moments of almost victoriousness there towards the end of the track that kind of takes me out of that melancholic, frame of mind. So yeah, is a really good selection for the week. As even if even if I don't 100% see the song as fitting in with the theme entirely, there were moments in it that I do feel fit the theme very well, and just the composition overall is well worth having listened to, even if it didn't fit the theme at all. I am more than happy to have heard it and to have included it on the channel so that other people can experience Johann Jóhannsson. I really do hope I'm saying that right. And I'm going to have to check out more of this group composer um, because aside from the fact that the composition itself is just, like I said, expert level, it's a few tools being used, very, very well to great effect. You can't diminish that about this song. But the other thing that really intrigues me is, I mentioned this in the middle of the track, is the combination of digital effects with classical writing. I don't believe any of the instruments were digitally altered. However, I think both of the vocalists were. The first one definitely was. It has sort of a Max Headroom sort of 80s digitization to it. It feels very, uh, you know, retro sci-fi AI kind of thing going on. But there was definitely some stuff going on with the operatic singer when they finished singing and they sort of faded out a little bit. It seems like the effects were being taken off one by one on that fade out. And yeah, there are some interesting things going on there. I'd have to re-listen to it to kind of see if I can pinpoint exactly what's being done there. But again, there's digitalization, digital effects being added within the basic foundation of a classical piece. And I think that's something that really interests me. And I think it's a type of music or a crossroads of music that I need to be more introduced to, need to get more familiar with, is sort of this merging of old school classical ideas with modern digital ideas. How does techno and classical fit together? How do we intersect jazz with auto tune? How do we write classical music now that we can use auditory digital tricks to create stuff that can't be done acoustically, naturally? Um, one of the things that comes to mind, it's just like the most overused thing in digital music, is the super choppy like 64th note strikes during build-ups right before a drop. You get the do 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 do. Yeah. Double tonguing, you can get some very professional players and they can double tongue pretty quickly, but not as quick as a computer. Eventually, there will be a point where they cannot double tongue as cleanly, as rhythmically perfect as a computer. And, I've mentioned before, I like the human element in music, so I'm not saying that it would need to be perfect, but it is something that a computer excels at, that digital effects excel at. So, how can we create classical music utilizing elements like that? And I think there's a lot of room for growth and expansion and discovery and exploration in these ideas of taking traditionally acoustic, traditionally, hand played classical jazz music and seeing how it works with modern digital effects and production. And I think this is one of the ways that it's used to great effect. Just another tool that was expertly used. And I just think it's really cool and has opened my eyes to it, honestly. Not that I really, looked past it or anything like that before, put it down. Just something that hasn't really been on my radar. And now it is. So that's definitely a bonus for this track. Um, but those are my thoughts on Jóhann Jóhannsson's The Sun's Gone Dim and the Sky's Turned Black. This is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought, if you enjoyed it or not, anything that stuck out to you, any bit of context that might help me understand what's going on. Above that is a description box, links, all sorts of stuff adjacent to the channel. If you'd like to join the Discord community, maybe you'd like to help support the channel through Patreon, or maybe you just want to follow me on Twitter. All three of those links are there, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Below that, like, subscribe, and a bell to ring. All three of those things about the channel, if you don't mind pressing them. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with another of these melancholy tracks. We'll do 2 more tomorrow, and we'll be back on track for the rest of the week. Not too painful, 2 double days. All right, well, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.